Let's talk to our next guest. On Thursday, word broke that my fellow Canadian, my fellow Montrealer, Felicia Spencer, the Phenom, was calling it a career. Out of nowhere, we get this news. Coming off a win just a couple of weeks ago against Leah Letson, Felicia Spencer is saying, I am done. And still very much in her prime. Of course, she went the distance when so many others could not against Amanda Nunes, arguably the second best women's featherweight in the UFC, has said she would like to move on to other things. And so obviously when we got this news, we had to have her on the program. And so without further ado, let us talk to the aforementioned Felicia Spencer. There she is. Felicia, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Ariel.
I feel like I need to say bye, Felicia, now. Do you get that joke a lot?
Yeah, yes. But it's all right. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. Okay. When did you made the announcement, first reported by fightbananas.com. Good for them for getting this big scoop. But you made the announcement on Thursday. When did you actually come to the conclusion that you were done, that you wanted to retire? When did this happen?
It's been a little while. I was definitely leading into this camp. I already knew that this was going to be my last fight, and honestly was thinking about it the camp prior to this one back in the spring. And a little bit after that camp, I was thinking or after the fight when I lost, I was thinking that might be it. But it really didn't sit well with me how the performance went in May. So I was really motivated I was really excited to train and to focus on another fight and come away with a win. So leading into 2 fights ago, you're starting to think these things. Why? Why are these thoughts coming through your mind? Honestly, I've always looked at as fighting as not a long-term thing for me. And I know it's different for everybody. I started training competitively for MMA when I was 18. I've obviously been doing martial arts my whole life. And, when I started training to compete in amateur fights, I always kind of thought, when I'm 30, I'll probably be calling it a day. That'll probably be enough time, 12 years from that point. And it's kind of weird to me that it kind of worked out the way it did, because I was 30 for my last fight. It wasn't like a set in stone, it wasn't like a hard deadline for me, but it really just all revolves around the future of my mental health. I'm doing fine. I'm fine. I know that, the brain can only take so much, and I've been in, some wars, and the only way to guarantee not being in a war is to just not go in there. I've shown myself that I'll do whatever it takes to stay in the fight. So for me, the only way I can, avoid getting, damage as a guarantee is just not to fight. I feel really good. Like you said, I feel like I'm in my prime. I feel like on November 13th, when I stepped in there, I was going to beat anybody that was in front of me. I was really determined. I had an amazing camp. I was super excited to be in there. And it's a kind of a hard decision, but I know in my heart that that's what I want to do. I feel like I would feel really guilty to continue to fight, just for where I'm going to be in 20 years from now to think about my family, my husband, even my parents. If I was not in myself 20 years from now, I wouldn't care, I guess, but at that point I wouldn't know, but thinking about my family and, in the future.
So when you're preparing for the Letson fight, are you saying to yourself, if I win this, I'm done? I just want to go out on a win. I want to go out on a performance that I'm proud of. And if that all comes to fruition, I will be done.
Yeah. I think either way.
Oh, really?
If I had lost, I feel like I was determined enough in training and in camp to put my best foot forward. I was ready to do that. And even if I had lost, that would have been 3 in a row for me. And, at that point it might've been a good idea also for me. But yeah, it really just comes down to, well, like I said, I was really proud to have the performance that I just had. It wasn't necessarily the most exciting, but I felt dominant. I felt really good. Didn't take a lot of damage, and, it was definitely one that I could be proud to walk away from.
Everyone wants to walk away on a win, and I think a lot of fighters love the moment, as they should, when they announce their retirement. Some don't stick to it, but you take the gloves off, you put them in the cage, you have the announcement. I know it's at the Apex, so it's not exactly, a capacity crowd, but you didn't do any of that. You're telling us this weeks later. Why didn't you announce it in the cage that night?
I don't really have a good answer, I guess. I just really wanted to let it all pass and, be certain that was going to be my choice after the fight. I didn't, a lot of people throw around the retirement and, the word and come and go. But for me, I don't think of it as retirement. I feel like I'm just done fighting. I'm just done competing, I'm on to the next chapter of my life. I don't know fully what it holds yet, but, I'm going to just move forward. I feel like it's time, and it is weird. I know, because like I just started to make, I'm just making a living off of fighting. I'm doing well. My contract is good. I'm happy with my contract. I have another fight on my contract. So it's kind of an odd position, an odd timing from the outside, but from the inside, I know it's a choice that I really wanted to make at this point.
Before you shared the news with the world through fightbananas.com, and by the way, I love that name, and nice, they got some pub out of this, so good on you. Are they a Florida-based website?
Yeah, I actually do like a segment with them every week.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, definitely good friends of mine.
That's great. It's good that you're loyal to them. I appreciate that and respect that greatly. Did you tell the UFC about your decision, or did you tell them afterwards?
I told them before I made the announcement. At first, my husband and I were pretty much the only ones who knew going into the fight. After the fight, I told my coaches, and then after that, a couple close friends, and then I was like, all right, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I'm not going to say it over and over again.
Right. And so who did you tell from the UFC? Mick Maynard or someone else?
Yeah, Mick Maynard.
Yeah, and did he try to convince you to stay?
No, I was shocked with all the support I got from the fans too. But yeah, Mick was like, hey, if this is your thought, then you're making the absolute right decision, and congrats on a great career. So I was like, okay, there you go.
And you didn't even tell your coaches in the training camp, like you didn't even hint at it. Why?
No, I really didn't want that to be the focus of my fight. I didn't want it to, I just didn't want that to be what everyone was thinking about, every day. I wanted it to just be a normal camp. When I told one of my coaches, he was like, I kind of saw that coming. I was like, oh, really?
Really?
I guess, yeah. I guess just maybe responses I have, maybe looking back at interviews and stuff, I did say often, like, I want to be proud to walk away from this performance, kind of,
right.
Fumbling my words sometimes.
Right. And so they didn't convince you to stay?
No, it's all been support. Yeah, I kind of expected like some pushback and, for people to make me feel like I'm making the wrong decision, but it's all been really positive. And, my coach, he's known me since I was like 13. He's like, he looks at me as a friend, and he knows, he was a fighter too, when he made the decision to stop fighting, when he felt, like that his mental health would be at risk to continue, and fully supported me, and, my family has, a lot of families see, as family members get older, they see dementia, they see other things happening. And that's been a part of my family's, legacy. And I just want to prevent that as much as possible, I feel like it's, I've probably already done some damage, more than likely. So, it's just time to call it.
And you mentioned the term mental health. Mental health can mean a lot of things, right? I think in this day and age, people think of like anxiety, depression, things like that. That's not what you're referring to, correct? You're talking about like brain health.
Right, which I know like is biological, like that depression and anxiety is, it is there, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to trauma leading to issues is what I'm referring to. So I'm doing great. I'm happy. I'm really happy with my decision, and I feel good about where I'm at, and I'm excited for what the future holds. I don't know what it is yet, but it's kind of been the theme in my life. Like, I just don't know what the next step ever is going to be. So.
And I'll ask you about the future in a second, but I'm just curious, because you're so cognizant about the health of your brain, and I'm assuming things like CTE and all that. When you go 25 minutes with Amanda Nunes, and the punishment that you took in that fight, which you were applauded for, the fact that you never broke or wilted, afterwards, even after that fight, did you start to think like, I don't want to do this much longer because I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to put my body, my brain through that again.
Yeah, I mean, every fight, like that was definitely the longest, fight that I took the most punishment in. So it definitely, contributed to the accumulation. Like I said, I know when I'm in there, I don't regret being in there. I don't regret going the distance. I'm happy with how it all worked out. But yeah, I know that every war that you're in, not just me, but every fighter, if you're in, you guys know watching after one of those wars happen and you're like, that person's never going to be the same again, Right. And I know that's, those effects can be long lasting and they really just accumulate. So I never envisioned myself being fighting until I was, my late 30s or just, I didn't want to push it until I just couldn't go anymore. I didn't want to be broken when I stopped fighting. I'm the best I've ever been. So yeah.
Yeah. I heard you say that you always considered your fight life an opportunity and not so much a career. And so when you consider it like an opportunity is usually something that is somewhat short-lived, right? An opportunity doesn't last for a lifetime. I think that kind of makes a lot of sense in terms of the way you thought of your career. Your husband is a fighter too, correct?
Yeah.
So does he share the same sentiments as you? Like, will he stop fighting at a relatively young age as well?
Well, everyone's path is going to be different, so I don't know when he'll want to stop. I know he wants to fight this year. He hasn't fought for about 1 year now. And it just depends on what kind of fights you have too. If you're going to go in and not take any damage, like most of his career, he ends it pretty quick. So, why stop, or, if you haven't accumulated a lot of damage, then it is different, I think. And like I said, everyone's going to feel different, about their life. And I don't judge people who stay in, like you just had Clay Guida on. Like, I love Clay Guida. I love that he's still doing it. And, if that's what makes him happy, so for me, I feel like I would just feel so guilty to continue. And he's also, Todd and I started a roofing company this year. So we have other things going on that, that we don't feel like fighting has to define everything in our life, so it's been a big part of our life. It's something that we love and that, we'll continue to love, training and, he'll compete and, I'll be involved in, still watching the sport, but so I think he'll definitely still be fighting, at least for the time being.
The roofing company, is it for like residential homes?
Both. But mostly just repairs. It's pretty much like a 2-man operation. I
like it. You
3
and your
if
husband.
And another friend of ours that helps.
So
it's a real small thing, nothing crazy, but it's, something that's our own. And, just like fighting, we just like to be in charge of our own life. And, sometimes making these decisions is, it's funny. Yeah. It's funny how it works out.
Are you still in Central Florida?
Yeah, we're in Orlando. Yeah.
Do you want to give the roofing company a shout out?
Sure. Coppinger Quality Roofing. He'll love that.
Okay. Coppinger
you can
Quality
find us
Roofing.
on. Yep. That's our last name.
Yep.
I've kept Spencer as my fight name, but you can find us on Instagram. Go hit us up if you need a job done.
I love the idea that if I have a leak in my roof, Felicia Spencer, former Invicta champion, could come fix it for me. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I might be not on every job, but okay. I mean, you'll be getting all the emails from me and you'll be getting the bills from me for sure.
That is amazing.
Remember, I'm pretty good with numbers, so,
Yes, actually, I wanted to mention that. Former math teacher, right? That's what you did in a previous life. Are you going to go back to math teaching?
I'm just leaving the door open right now. I don't want to dive into doing full-time anything, right now. It's a possibility. But I'd like to see what I can do more for the business and like moving forward and, possibly even like commentating or just being involved with the sport still. I definitely am interested in that stuff. So I'm going to kind of let it sit for a couple months and then, see where I'm at.
You got a lot of love when you made this announcement. What is that like for you to see, I'm sure everyone wants to get love on their way out, and yours was out of the blue. But a lot of nice things I saw were being said about you. And so to see that, does it make you feel like, oh, I had an impact, this was all worth it. People appreciated me. Like, what's your reaction to seeing, because you're obviously a very humble person. Dare I say somewhat shy, right? And to see all these people talking about you, what was that like?
It was a little unexpected, honestly, but it was very nice. I really appreciated a lot of the messages I got. Like you said, saying, just being an inspiration for others, applauding my decision, thinking about my future, like that kind of stuff. Really, I didn't expect such a positive reaction. And honestly, I've done more media about this than for my last 2 fights combined. It's maybe it will, help other fighters who, have been kind of feeling the same way, but, don't want to feel like they're giving up on something by stopping when they think they should. It's like I said, it's a point where I'm making a good living, I'm on top, and it's okay to walk away, when you feel like it's the right time. And I'm not afraid of what the future holds, whatever it may be. I might make less money. I might, who knows what happens, but I know it's it's the right decision for me.
What are you most proud of?
I don't know. I guess the kind of responses that I've been getting about, being an inspiration, like showing that, when things are tough, you can push through, that kind of stuff. Like that is really nice, especially when it's parents telling me that, their kids are inspired or that they look up. Like those are the kind of things that I feel really good about. So, and obviously all the accomplishments and just kind of doing everything the way I wanted to do it, the way I got into the UFC, to the way I'm getting out of it, it's all kind of just the way that I wanted, along with the support of the people around me, so.
Favorite fight?
I guess I would have to say, like, fighting Cyborg in Canada was really just like a special moment. There was all the media, there was, fighting in Canada, all the support, being on the poster, like all the crazy stuff that had never happened to me before. So that was a pretty special one for me.
Yes, Edmonton, and you went the distance with her as well in her final UFC fight. That one didn't go your way like the Nunes one, but I feel like for whatever reason, your career will be defined by the fact that you didn't break, that you maybe didn't have the scariest, game face, physique, whatever, but you were freaking tough as hell. And you stood in there with some of the greatest fighters of all time, and you gave them hell and never quit. So, someone's legacy could be a hell of a lot worse than that. And so I want to salute you, Felicia, on a fantastic career. New York Rick, who was working on my show and who's back now, used to talk to me about you, the Canadian phenom from Invicta, saying that you were going to be the one to challenge for the UFC Women's Featherweight Championship. And he was right. And so it was really great to see a fellow Montrealer make it to the UFC, do big things. And
Rick is back on the show.
How about that, huh?
Nice throwback to back in the day, yeah.
Yes. New York Rick, you want to say anything to Felicia on the way out? He's able to talk. Are you able to talk, New York Rick?
Congratulations on a great career.
Look at that. Did you hear him?
No.
Oh, you couldn't hear him? Let's try again.
No.
I said, congratulations on a great career.
I didn't hear it.
You didn't? We screwed that up.
I'll go back and watch it.
Yes, he said congratulations on a great career. He said thanks for proving me right.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Thank you, Felicia. All the best to you, and good luck in this next chapter.